The CSV is a little bit more compact, just because it is 7.1. The CSV is actually 29% of the size because everything is structured. You don't need extra characters to sort of figure out where the dividers are. Let me open both of these up to sort of show you the pros and cons of each. These are the exact same data files, just represented in a different way. Let's stop this because you get the picture. So side by side, this is a CSV, which has everything structured in order. So you know it's the ID, the name, the host ID, the host name, etc., etc. And then every line after that is the same as before. So you don't really need to know which one each one is. You already know that this is the ID, you know this is the name, you know that this is a host ID, you know this is a host name. Whereas in each JSON you have to write out each key, because you don't make the assumption that everything is the same. That is a really it's called a NoSQL approach, where NoSQL means no sequence, whereas SQL means sequential. So SQL is a pretty popular database. NoSQL is a new and upcoming database, good for big data, because big data is generally unstructured. So having labels for each one is generally better, because it's just like a little bit more scalable, and it's easy to make mistakes. And it's good if you are unsure about how the format is going to be. So it lets you make changes extremely quickly. I said that incorrectly. Of course, there's also its downsides. It's not as tested, and there's more chances of data loss. So definitely there's pros and cons to every one. So there's no absolute right way of doing it. But you can see here, this is exactly the same data. If you look at row 1, the ID, the host name is all the same. So to really demonstrate the power of this, you can see that basically reading this was literally 5 lines, whereas reading something like a CSV would be something like this. You'd have to import a CSV reader, and then you'd have to set the CSV reader to read from F, and then set a limiter. So you can see that this is already like a lot more work to read a CSV file. So if you already know, like, I'm not going to finish the rest of this. If you're interested in CSVs, you can read my other course, how to read CSVs. But let's run through this JSON and just print out the first item in the JSON to like sort of show side by side what's going on here. So let's pretty print this. pp.pprint, and show you side by side how this is exactly the same. So you can see here, this is basically dictionary notation on most newer programming languages. So you can see the host ID, the ID, it's all in there. It's read as a dictionary, which is a lot more handy if you want to do something like this. So for row in J, then we can just do something like final total or average price equals 0. Then we can do something like this, equals row, what is this called? We don't need to know which row it is. We can just go ahead and just type in the price, price, and then plus average price, and then print out the average price divided by the length of the rows, or the length of J, and then we can do something like that extremely quickly, and you can get the final result right now, $152, and then we can print the length of J. So you can already see how nice this is for data analysis. It's super quick. Like, I did this in literally 2 seconds. Read it, and then I just ran it like a dictionary. It was like already preloaded. So it's a great way to save like the data in your program, because it basically saves it the way that your computer interprets it. So that's a kind of a no-brainer. I like JSON personally, but it's definitely not nice on my space. So I try to avoid that whenever possible. Like I try to save final stuff as CSVs, and then use JSON when like I'm feeling lazy, or not lazy, but like, you know what I mean. Like I just don't want to like go through the bother of saving a CSV. Come on. Sometimes you just don't have the time for that, and nobody got the time for that. Yeah,